I'm Tom, and let's do a very quick initial reaction to the Eubank Benn fight we saw on the weekend. I'm sure I'll do a more in-depth, more detailed version of this kind of breakdown or reaction through the week, but I'm going to do my initial thoughts, get it off the bat, get it out there. Right off the bat, the right man won. Eubank, for me, I've seen a lot of people saying robbery. I think it's easy to get carried away in the fact that after a fight like that, no man really deserves to lose. That was one of that, for me, top 3 fights I've seen of all time. Genuinely a fantastic war. Gets in the top 3. And after that, when you see a man lose, it does feel a little bit, not harsh, right? But if you do feel a little bit like, maybe lose is the wrong word, because for that, you deserve something. Obviously, a lot of money helps, right? But I was scoring it. I had Eubank winning by 2 rounds. I'm going to go back. I'm going to watch it again. I'm going to properly score it. But I had Eubank ahead by 2 rounds. So to see Eubank get awarded the win, I think was the fair decision. Although I do think Ben can hold his head extremely high and be super, super proud. They both did their fathers proud. Both of them. It was so good to see Eubank Sr. there and Nigel Benn there, and them sort of have that interaction at the start, and that was super, super important. I'm glad we saw that. Now, looking at the fight, there's a lot we can take away. Firstly, Eubank is really good. Making the weight didn't take too much away from him, but he's really good. Ben, a lot of people said Ben would gas. I just don't think he did. I don't think he really gassed at all. I think Eubank got a second wind in the last 2 rounds and sort of took the last 2 rounds. I don't think that's because Ben gassed. I think Eubank just got that second wind. Ben can mix with most of the top 160 guys. Not all of them. I'm not saying he beats them, but he can mix it with them, as we've seen he's done with Eubank. So he can mix it at that top level. Dropping it to 157, he can obviously mix it there as well. If he can get 154, if he can get back down to 147, go back down to 147. If you can do what you've just done at 160, down at 147, get down there now. Get down there as soon as possible. Then go up to 154. But that's a bit of an empty division at the moment. 147 is where it's at. 154, storm that, and then work out to 160 if you need to later in your career. You're just not at that stage yet where you need to be ballooning yourself up to these big weights. Eubank's cut himself down, and he's a much bigger guy. Eubank's a 167 guy, really. 168 guy, really, coming down. But, I mean, he's probably somewhere in the middle, to be fair to him. But what I'm saying is, if Ben can come up and do that at 160, get back down to 147 now. If that's where you can be, if that's where you can fight, get back down, because you'd be very good. That's what we've learned. We've all said that Ben's a bit of an unknown variable. We don't really know how high he can be. We've not seen him tested at a top level. Well, now we've seen that at a top level, a few divisions above him, and we've seen that he can mix it. So mix it down in your division. Why hang around in 160 when you can be down there? That's just my opinion. I think he should get back down. I think and I also think, talk of the rematch. I'd love to see a rematch. That was an unbelievable 12-round fight. Really amazing. But we have to be honest here. Eubank's done at 160. Eubank's done at he can't fight at 160 anymore. He's just too big. At this stage of his career, he's too big for 160. So he needs to go back up. He needs to go up. He can't do that. And Ben shouldn't be forcing himself into 160, making himself bigger than he needs to be, earlier than he needs to be. He should be getting himself back down, finding his weight, 147. If he wants to go to 154, go to 154. But one of those 2 weights, I think back down to 147 for a couple of years, then 154 for a few more years. And if he wants to go to 160 after, he can go to 160 after. That's my opinion. I think there's any need for a rematch. I'd love to see it, and they probably will do a rematch because money talks. But I think the bottom line is Eubank is done at 160. He needs to stop doing that. And if Ben keeps pushing himself up to 160, ultimately he's going to damage himself when he comes back down. We've seen it time and time and time again. If he keeps pushing himself up to 160, when he comes down to 147 again or 154, it's not going to be the same. Do you know what I mean? His chin will go. Maybe his power isn't the same. Maybe his, punch resistance, obviously. Stamina, it's all going to kind of take a hit, and he doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need to sacrifice that yet. But if they're going to do a rematch, there's no way Eubank makes 160 anything after. Like, maybe he couldn't make it this fight. Maybe he makes it for the next fight. He won't do it after that. He won't do it after that. So they're going to have to do it next. And we'll probably see it because money talks, but I just don't think we need to see that. But what a fantastic fight. Both of them did their fathers proud, did the legacy proud, lived up to the hype and the expectation. Genuinely a phenomenal fight. Like, wow, one for the ages. Unbelievable. 12-round war. Wild onto both men. I had Eubank winning. How did you other people? Let me know all your thoughts on the fight in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, a comment, subscribe. You know how all the stuff works, people. Peace.